ได้เรียบสัวสวัสดีครับตาเจ้าเฮา Good morning ไลน์นี้คือไลน์ไปเรื่อง academic ก็จะไล่เรื่องวิชาการนะครับ academic so ខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសតែម្ដងបាទដើម្បីកុំឲ្យខាតពេលខ្ញុំមានពេល22នាទីដើម្បីបញ្ចប់ YouTube ហ្នឹងក៏มีเวลาแค่22นาทีนะครับแต่จะทำให้หัวข้อนี้จบนะครับ I have 20 minutes to finish this topic. This is a Nobel Prize topic too, especially for master student, doctoral student, as well bachelor degree student. For people who don't have a background in finance, just listen to me.สำหรับអ្នកដែលអត់មានbackground ផ្នែកហិរញ្ញវត្ថុស្ដាប់លោកគ្រូแฟนคนไทยก็ไม่มีความรู้ทางด้านการเงินและธนาคารก็ฟังเอาเป็นบทเรียนเอาไว้ถ้านักศึกษาปริญญาตรีปริญญาโทปริญญาเอกก็จะพยายามตามผมนะครับอันนี้เป็นวิชาการล้วนๆนะครับเป็นวารสารโอเคเป็นวารสาร VG Journal បាទអញ្ចឹងសូមចាប់ផ្ដើមតែម្ដងណាមុននឹងចូលសាច់រឿងសូមណែនាំខ្លួនឯងសិន before going to the topic let's understand the background I got a bachelor degree in finance banking from Thailand a master degree in business administration from Thailand and PhD coursework in finance from Taiwan okay this is the pictures of my classmate, my advisor, while I was studying in Taiwan. So when in Facebook, you will see my YouTube. I will release after this record. Okay, I will release it in Facebook too. Okay, let's go on. My academic achievement in PhD coursework for 2 years, 4.33 GPA. My bachelor degree is 2.76 in finance banking from Thailand, and my master degree GPA 3.53 from Thailand. Okay, let's move to the topic. The topic today is economic force and stock market. This is a classic topic, a Nobel Prize topic too. They talk about how many factors that affect stock market. Remember, I remind you, financial market, stock market is a gambling. So just learn and understand it. Okay. And I also repeat again and again, for fans in the United States or in developed country, buying government bond, long-term government bond, it's really good for you. You never take risk. For 20 years, for 30 years, calculate when you are retired in the future. That's it. Don't invest in stock market. And what for, why you teach me? I learned from this one. I just let you know. That's why you have an idea. Nobody cheating you in the future. Okay? And for Asian country, the third country, I already recommend you buying a land, even a small piece of land, a small piece of acre, that will be good. Those is very safe in investment. After 1 year, 2 years, the price will be accumulated 2, 3, or 100 times. And for the third country, especially related to law, you have a risk in you authorize, you have a right on that property. Just watch out this one. But in developed country, don't care about the rights. It is legally according to the transaction. But it's quite very expensive. In the United States, in Canada, or developed country, just buy a house in a new city. In a new city, yeah, they just build a city, so the house still cheap. In the United States, the rate around 400,000. Yeah, after 5 years, you will gain. You will make a benefit. You make a profit from that house in United States, Canada, Australia, or developed country in Europe. This is the best way. And the second, invest in government bond. That's it. Stock market, I recommend no. Just learn and understand. Okay, let's come back to the topic. Okay, that's what I learned. So I share my knowledge with you. So how many factors in this journal that the author try to share their experience to us? So the first one, we're talking about stock. Stock, it must be return. So the return of stock is dividend. So he has equation 1 and equation 2. People will see all the equation in the YouTube, but for Facebook Live, you don't see, okay? So he identified the stock return as a dividend with the equation P equal E column C divided by K. So he defined C is a dividend. Dividend is the return of people invest in stock market. Hello, Meng Thieng. Hello, Atitya Siakam. Oh, คุณก็เป็นคนไทยนะครับ อาทิตยาศิลาคำโอเคคุณอาทิตยาศิลาคำนะครับวันนี้ผมจะพูดวารสารนะครับก็จะพูดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษจะต้องผมมีเวลาประมาณสัก20นาทีก่อนไปทำงานนะครับก็ทำหัวข้อนี้ให้จบI try to finish it between 20 or 22 minutes. Okay? So the equation 1ครับสวัสดีครับดึกแล้วยังไม่นอนนะครับวันนี้อาจารย์ก็พูดประเด็นวารสารนะครับเป็นเชิงวิชาการสำหรับปริญญาตรีโดยเฉพาะปริญญาโทกับนักศึกษาปริญญาเอกนะครับความรู้ทางด้านการเงินโดยเฉพาะทางด้านตลาดหุ้นนะครับOkay, let's move on in English. Okay, คุณอนิตยาสามารถจะ watch live เมื่อเช้านะครับพูดถึงในครัวอะไรก็ว่ากันไปนะครับก็โปรดตามดูแล้วกันแล้วก็ทาง YouTube ผมจะโพสต์หลังจากนี้จบไปนะครับก็ YouTube ผมจะเข้าไปแชมป์เรินซัน YouTube คนจะดูมีบางชุดผมจะพูดภาษาไทยล้วนๆนะครับในเชิงวิชาการOkay, let's move on. Fanning, Chinese fanning from South Korea, Cambodia, Vietnam, Burma. So I have a lot of fans. Okay, let's move on with English. Okay, the equation number 1, I already told you, P equal E C divided by K. C is dividend, K is a discount rate. This is the original equation that the author identified. So after that, the right is derivative. If derivative EC divided by K, it must be EC. It's come to derivative EC minus derivative K. So equation number 2, I'll explain you. You got like that, and then he plus both sides with C divided by P. Okay, C is the dividend, P is the return. Okay, P is the return. Okay. C is a dividend. Okay, so you got equation number 2. So fan in Facebook, you don't see it. Wait to see the YouTube. I will post in the Facebook too. Okay, now I try to explain one by one because he studied the economic factor or macro factor that affects on stock market return. Now, this journal is quite good because it also explains one by one. So for beginner, learn how to write a journal or develop a journal to be a thesis, learn from this journal. Okay, now let's move on to the second equation or second variable. Just a moment is a return. Return is a dependent variable at the left side. Okay, and the second part he will explain independent variable at the right side. Okay. So the independent variable, let's see how many independent variable. Number 1, independent variable factor number 1 is called industrial production. In industrial production, he divided by 2, equation number 3 and equation number 4, a monthly industrial production and a yearly industry production. So equation number two, monthly industrial production equal log IP industrial production T minus log E industrial production T minus 1. It is the change. So in order to calculate the change, you can use logarithm or derivative. This is the key, especially for students at master degree student, especially doctoral student. Bachelor student, you can listen to me carefully and follow all the clips that I did it. This is a chapter number 14. So follow from chapter 1 until now, you understand, you got it. No matter what you can learn on your own, just listen to me or listen from other instructor. Just point the key point in each journal to you. After you get that one, you understand everything. Okay. So the first factor that affects on stock market return in this journal is industrial production. Industrial production, the author wrote down to be two parts as a monthly growth and a yearly growth. Equation number 3 and number 4. Now go to the second factor. And the good author, the good journal that beginner student learn and understand quite well, it must be written like him. Now the table number 1, he give all the abstract of each factor. Okay, like I refer to inflation. Okay, TB treasury bill, refer to the treasury bill. LGB long-term government bond. IP industrial production just a moment ago. BAA, B capital, A small, it is a low-grade bond. In this, you know, he used a low-grade bond. Okay. E with EW and Y, equally weighted equity or return on equally weighted portfolio. So he formed portfolio based on equally weighted and return. So he had to calculate return according to portfolio form equally weighted. And another one, VW and Y, value weighted equity. So he calculated the return of a portfolio based on value weighted. Remember, in 5 factor or 4 factor or 3 factor of my friend, when we're talking about value, it refers to book value divided by market value. So in abstract, they just mention about value, but it refers to book value divided by market value. Okay, this is the point that I have to describe for you, because sometimes you read question, what is the value? What is the value? Because sometimes in the journal, they don't describe it. It must be continuous from other journal. If you read a lot, you got it. Okay, you got it. The CG is a consumption, CPI, consumption price index. Okay, and the last one is oil price. So as whole, there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors that the author used to study the effects of 6 factors on the stock market return. The stock market return is the dependent variable and the 6 are independent variable. Okay, now he already identified all abstract. In the table, he just wrote down the abstract word because we don't have space to write the whole thing. Okay, let's move to the second factor. The first factor is industry production. The second factor is inflation. Okay, the inflation he identified by using UI. Unanticipated inflation is identified as UIT time T. If you use the 2023 is a T. Okay, equal IT inflation in year 2023, for example, minus expected IT T minus 1. Expected average previous year inflation. Okay, the change. He used the second factor as the unanticipated inflation equal inflation now minus average inflation last year, T minus 1. But the year he was studied is not 2003. I just give you example of 2003. If T minus 1, 2020, 2022, year T, I mean 2023 right now. Okay, and that's equation number 5. Equation number 6, the treasury bill. He calculated the treasury bill T minus 1, it means previous year, year 2023, it means 2022, equal expected. Okay, he explained, okay, TB T minus 1 minus IT minus IT inflation. Okay, he take the treasury bill rate last year minus the inflation rate this year, measure the exposed real return on treasury bill in the period. Why he take the treasury bill rate last year minus IT? Because inflation, it make your salary, it make your income less. For example, now inflation rate is at 15%. So the salary you got per month, for example, $300, you have to take 15% off, because all the product price, all the good price in the market, the price increased to be 15%, but your salary is still the same. That's why they take it out in order to get the real one. You got it? Okay, let's go. Move to equation number 7. Number 7, he wrote down as a DEIT. And what is DEIT? Okay, another inflation variable that is unanticipated, that it might have an influence separable from the UIE. We got the inflation DIE. Okay, DIE is come from derivative or the change of the inflation. Okay, if the change, you can use logarithm or you can use derivative. So he derives the change of inflation as average inflation expected next year, future inflation minus the average inflation previous year. He defined like that for the equation number 7. Okay, let's move on. Factor number 3, that's called risk premium. So he defined risk premium as UPR. Okay, the risk premium is defined as UPRT year right now, current year or 2024, by using low grade credit bond, BAA, capital B and small a. Okay, return minus the long-term government bond year T. So the difference between the low grade bond and the long-term government bond, he defined as UPR. Okay, he defined as the UPR. Okay, that's called return of anticipated change in risk premium. This is what is defined, the third factor. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Number 4, factor number 4, that's called term structure. So he defined term structure as equation number 9 as LGB, long-term government bond, minus treasury bill previous year to be term structure. Another factor, it's different from just a moment ago. It's different from a risk premium. The risk premium he defined as the return of low grade bond minus long-term government bond. But the term structure he defined as long-term government bond minus treasury bill previous year. Okay, don't be confused. It become equation number 9 factor number 4. Okay, let's move on to another factor. And for market index, so he divides market index to be 2, equal return on equal weighted and value weighted by using New York Stock Exchange. So equal weighted, it means that he tried to form a portfolio based on equal weighted, and then he calculate the return. And for value weighted, he formed a portfolio based on book value divided by market value. Book value is a price per share when you first issue your stock to the market. For example, like $2. Right now, your stock become 15, 20, or 100, etc., etc. That called market value. So V, W, and Y based on forming portfolio from book value divided by market value. Okay, this is why in the journal they don't tell you, but because of my experience, I tell you, and then after that you can read the journal, understanding it well. Okay, this is the market index number 5. Market index, there are 2, equal weighted and value weighted, forming the portfolio. Factor number 5. Okay, so we have 4, number 5 divided by 2 to be 6 now. Let's move to another factor. Another factor is the consumption, CPI. CPI also affects on the return too. Okay, so the CPI is not hard. They just using the CPI from the data. That's it. And the last one, oil price. See, oil price. So we have 6 main factors, but in factor number 4 divided by 2, that's called a market index. So now it becomes 7 factors now. So now this is the study, the effect from 7 factors on the return. Okay, the first factor is from the beginning, inflation. The second factor is the risk premium. The third factor is a term structure, or the first one is industrial production. The second one is the risk premium. The third is a term structure. The fourth is what is that? I forget the 4 now. The term structure is the 4. Okay, the 5 structure is a market index. The fifth factor divided by 2. Market index divided by 2. Now it becomes 6. And the last one is after is the consumption, and the last one is the oil price. So there are 7 factor effect on the return. Now let's see the whole model. Before going to the whole model, table number 1, the author clarified the definition and the brief word, because in the column we don't have much space to write everything. So we have used the brief letter. Okay, the brief letter. So in table number 2, they realize the correlation. What is the correlation? The correlation is the relation between 2 factors. But remember, we study equation, we want to study the effect from the left side on the right side. The left side is called independent variable, or the 7 factor just a moment ago, effects on the return. But we are not sure that how many factors that affects on the return. It's based on the statistic result. Now going to the correlation. The correlation in the table number 2, it shows the correlation between independent variable itself at the right side. So why they have to show that? They have to show that less correlate, because we focus on the independent variable and the dependent variable, not independent variable itself. If the result come out majority less than 50%, the result will be good in terms of statistics. Okay, so as I look at the table number 2, the correlation between 2 factors, we conclude in absolute value. Even if negative or positive, absolute value, it becomes positive. So as the majority, as I can see, I read from here, below 50%. So in terms of statistics, it is good. The purpose of showing the correlation just show you is it a proper model statistic or not. Now, in terms of correlation, it's good. Okay, let's move to table number. Now, in the correlation, as I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 factor. They use a value-weighted portfolio return. They use monthly industrial production. They use the change of inflation. They use of inflation. They use of a UPR, UTS. UPR is supposed to be a risk premium. UTS is term structure, and YP is a yearly industrial production. See, they use both monthly industrial production and yearly production. They want to know how those 7 factors affect on stock return or not. Okay, let's move to another table, table number 3. Table number 3 show you the autocorrelation. Autocorrelation similar to the correlation table number 2, but the difference over here, it can be used the same time series twice. It might be repeat, but the correlation, no. Repeat what? For example, like you do a survey. That person might answer your questionnaire two sets. 2 sets. It is called repeated survey. It's mean like that. It's mean like that. Okay, for autocorrelation. And the good result in here is a monthly industrial growth based on the lag. Row 1, row 2 to row 12. Lag 1, lag 2, lag 3. What does lag mean? Year 2023, year 2022, the gap is 1. That's called lag 1. Lag, L-A-G, the gap. Row 2, lag 2. Year 2023, it must be year 2021. That row 2 refer to. Okay, so on and so on until row 12 months. We can see monthly production go high, 80%. Industrial production fluctuate very high in 12 months. The 12 months, it doesn't mean at the end of the year, no. It depends on when you count from the first month. For example, month of the 6th, I mean June, you count at the first month, and it will be other June next year will be the 12th month. Okay, so back. Correlation and autocorrelation is different. The difference is autocorrelation, the study might be repeated over here, the same time series twice. Okay, this is the difference. Okay. Let's move to the economic state variable asset pricing. Now, equation number 12, realize the whole from the beginning to the last factor. So he wrote down the left side as R. R is a stock return. Equal A. A is a constant. Okay. Constant, just a number. Number 1, number 20, number 30. A number. But in 4-factor model, it is called abnormal return. But here, just forget it. Okay. And the first factor is MP, monthly growth industrial production. And before MP, there is a BMP. B is a beta. Beta is the coefficient or multiplier of the factor MP. DEI, the change of average inflation, and with the coefficient BDEI, the second factor. The third factor is unanticipated inflation. It is also clarified in the equation already. Okay, when you read the journal, you will click up to see what is the UI defined, what is DEI defined, the equation. What about that? Why they have to show the equation like that? Because they want to show you they get the result from that equation. when you do the research by using Stata, using EView, using SBS, you just get the result and put in the column. The dependent variable at the left side, the most left side, and following by the independent variable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. And put import, and then click on the statistic result that you want. That's it. The result come out. Okay? The equation just show you how to calculate those factors, and then bring the result of those factors to put in the Excel column, and then import to the program. Click on what result you want. Now let's move on to the fourth factor. In equation number 12, as I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factor. Okay, they put 5 factor first. The fourth factor is the UPI, the risk premium. The equation just show you, take the return of low grade bond minus the long-term government bond. And the last one is term structure. Okay, term structure, take the treasury bill return minus the long-term government bond. Okay, and plus E. E is called error term or disturbance factor. I mean, a lot of factors that are not included in this study. Okay, now let's go. Move to the result. Okay, as the result, we can see table number 4. We have in the table number 4, we have yearly industry production, monthly industry production, the change of inflation, risk premium, and term structure, and a constant for the last one. Okay, it include with the T statistic and include with the coefficient. But the most important, look at the T statistic. All T statistic must be equal to or greater than 2. That it might affect on the stock market return. As a whole, I can see the monthly industrial product return. Okay, all effects on in year 1958 to 84 and year 1968 to 77 effects on the stock market return. Look at the T statistic. Okay, effect grow or decrease. We can look at the coefficient. If the coefficient is positive, that means increase, make the return increase. So as I look at the coefficient, all positive, that means when industrial production grow, the market return grow. What does it mean industrial production grow? More employment. More employment, people have money. So have money, they invest more in the stock market. That's the return increase. Okay. And other factor, for example, like the change in inflation, the change in inflation from 1968 to 77 also affects on only one, affects on the return, stock return, but affect down or go down or goes up. It's go down because of the coefficient negative. Okay, for the UI, unanticipated inflation, I can see from year 58 to 84. Okay, the coefficient is negative, it makes the return down. And from year 1968 to 77, also affects it with the negative coefficient, it means the return go down. Okay, so all explained the same way, the rest of 2 factors. Okay. Okay, let's move to another table. All explained it the same way. Okay. And table number 5. Table number 5, they include, now they also include 2, 4, 5, include one more factor, is the value weighted New York Stock Exchange, the return. The return from based on book market to book market value effect on the stock return plus to the 4 factor. Okay, plus to the 4 factor. The same way, if necessary, you look at the T statistic. Okay, for the VWNY from 1958 to 84, they do affect the stock return. It causes the stock return goes up based on the coefficient is a positive. Okay, only one from year 1958 to 84. The rest are not they were not effects on they did not effects on the stock return. Okay, by look at the table number 5, the rest will be explained the same. Okay, and move to about consumption beta CPI. Okay, I will finish soon. The beta he defined as equation number 3 as E minus R. Okay, is excess return. Okay, that's called vector of excess return that used to be used in the consumption. Okay, consumption beta of consumption, the coefficient of consumption. Okay, and K is a risk premium. E minus R equal BC star K. Star is multiple by K. Okay, K is a risk premium and BC is a vector of consumption beta. BC is a beta. Okay. They try to explain you what is the coefficient of the consumption. Okay, that's it. Now let's come to see the result in table number 6, pricing with the consumption. So just a moment, we have 5 variables specifically, right? We have industrial production, we have the change of inflation, we have inflation, we have risk premium, we have term structure, and the table number 5 they put value weighted. Now they take it out, they put the consumption 2 plus to the 5 factor. Now it becomes 6 factor. Let's see the CG, the consumption effect on the return or not. Let me see the T statistic. As we can see from year 2064 to 77, the T statistic absolute value is 6. It means it does affect on the stock return in year 64 to 77 in the negative way. Negative way, it means the return go down because the consumption goes up. Consumption goes up, it means you spend a lot in your daily life cost of living. You don't have money to invest in the stock market. That's why the return go down. It makes sense, okay, for the consumption. Let's move on. About the oil price. The oil price, they take the consumption out, they put the oil price too, based on the principal 5 factor the same, and put oil price go down. And we see as an oil price, we look at the T statistic in those years, 58 to 84, 58 to 67, 68 to 78 to 84. We don't see the T statistic equal to or greater than 2. It means the oil price did not affect at all to the stock return in this study. Okay? So we have a lot of factors here. As we read the result, we can go to the conclusion. The conclusion, we take all what I said in the result, brief in conclusion as a summary from the result. It becomes the conclusion. Okay, so go to the conclusion. It will be the same, okay, like the table result. Okay, finally it's 11:70 now. It might be late for me going to work. I try to say goodbye now. Chai Chien, Savadi Krap, bye bye friend in Cambodia. I hope you have a good health. มีสุขภาพดีนะครับคุณอาทิยาก็ถึงเวลาผมไปทำงานแล้วขอจบการไลฟ์แค่นี้บายบายใช่เจียนพังโย